This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening night club.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening night club. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Night Club podcast. This is the podcast where we get together every week and celebrate and discuss opening night theater all over Central Washington. Again with me this week, we have local auteur and my friend, Skyler Cuthill. Hello, Skyler.
Howdy, Kevin. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's been a big weekend for theater, at least for me. And how's your weekend gone?
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm still recovering. I had one drink at a Halloween party the other night, which was very exciting. My first alcohol in a month. And I immediately started hacking. And I went, oh, I'm still sick, aren't I? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I did do it. I cracked the seal, as it were. But before we get going, I did want to issue a retraction.
A retraction to the podcast.
Like we were the Washington Post or whatever. We do need to issue a retraction. 2 weeks ago, we talked about The Marvelous Wonderettes, which I believe you went to see again, so you can talk about that in a second. But 2 weeks ago, we talked about it, and we talked about how fun it was to see Rachel Powers playing kind of a nasty character. She's not like a villain in the show. She was just like unpleasant. Right.
And there's a redemption arc.
Yes, the dense plotting of Marvelous Wonderettes. And we talked about how kind of refreshing that was, because Rachel almost always plays ingenues and oppressed women, persecuted women, that kind of thing. And Rachel listened to the podcast immediately. She texted me and said, Skyler, we all met each other during A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, in which she played Sabella. And Sabella she isn't the villain, but she's also not good. Right, there are two female leads in that show, Phoebe and Sabella is the bad one of that pairing.
Yes.
Phoebe's religious and like correct and nice, and Sabella kind of gets the plot going because right at the start of the show, Monty's deeply in love with her, and he proposes to her, and she goes, don't joke yourself, I'm going to marry a rich guy. We can still like have sex and have fun, but I'm marrying a rich guy. That's my plan.
She's very money driven.
Yeah, she's not a good person. So we actually all met Rachel. That was her first show in Wenatchee.
That's right.
While she was playing not a good girl. So I want to issue a retraction. Excuse me. It was Rachel going back to her 2022 roots of playing a bad girl.
I went and saw Marvelous Wonderettes again this weekend, saw it on a matinee, and took my elderly parents, who loved it. They thought it was the best. They were kind of surprised how many gray-haired people were in the audience at a matinee for The Marvelous Wonderettes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we are familiar with what it is, and The Marvelous Wonderettes really has a lot of songs that the boomer generation will love. And I think by closing weekend, the word had gotten out of what it was. And I saw people there. I saw Marie Buckner again, who had been bringing new people because she wanted everybody to see this show. So there was a lot of returners. And I think I've been trying to convince Maddie that she needs to do another Marvelous Wonderette show. There's like 5 of them.
Oh, it's like a Tuna, Texas style thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's the Winter Wonderettes, which is Christmas shows where they're singing Christmas songs from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, like a Santa Baby?
Yes, it's that type of show.
Okay.
And so now that people know what it is, I think it'll probably... The word of mouth is a little easier because you can say, oh, yeah, no, I like the Wonderettes. I'll go back and see another Wonderette show.
It found its audience.
Oh,
that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
One thing I did want to point out, we weren't sure. Last time we saw it, at some point, the girls start calling out to their teacher, Mr. Lee, out in the audience. And it turns out one of them is madly in love with Mr. Lee, and they pull him on stage and incorporate him into their number. And last time they pulled out Andy, who's the husband of Jill Sheets, the producer. And we thought, I bet Jill has planted him in the front seat every time.
Yes.
And that it will always be Andy Sheets. And this time it was not Andy Sheets. This time, and I had to talk to Jill afterwards to say, was this planned? And apparently this was not. But for this one, Stacia McCrae's parents were in the front row with her brother, Mason.
Okay.
And Mason, he's...
was it him?
Mason has Down syndrome and is delayed. And so it was Mason and his dad, Mr. McCrae, were the only men in the front row. And they had picked Mr. McCrae to be pulled up. But at the last minute, he says no, and he pushes his son out. And his son is probably 4.5 feet. He's a little guy. He's a little guy.
Yeah.
And he did not understand the show as we were coming up. But he's a ham. And so I know him because I go to church with the McCraes, and he will generally be up on stage playing the maracas or something. And when he's up there, a lot of times they have trouble getting him back to his seat because he wants to be in front. And most of the time, to get back to his seat, somebody has to pick him up and give him a piggyback ride back to his seat.
So that's what I've been in a couple of plays with Stacia, and her family comes, and that's how I know him, because after the show, when everybody's talking to each other, he will demand piggyback rides of the cast.
And we knew that was coming. And so when they brought him out on stage, we were watching it, my wife and I, wondering,
which of these girls?
What's going to happen on stage? He loved it. And once he understood what was happening, he was all smiles. And as they're dancing around him, he was doing the Donald Trump dance. With the little hands.
Oh, with the little hands, yeah.
Moving back and forth.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And at the end of the song, he went in for a bear hug with Rachel. And I was like, I wonder if she's going to have to give him a piggyback ride.
That's what I'm waiting for.
And everything worked fine.
Oh,
but
good.
There was a certain amount of tension in the audience for the people that have worked with Mason in the past. Yeah. So it was a great show. And the final weekend, they sold really well. We were all the way on the side.
Good, great.
No,
it found its audience.
It found its audience.
Wonderful.
No, it was good. And afterwards I had to talk to Jill and say, okay, was that planned? And they're like, no, that was not the plan going into that one.
Jill also lent me the podium from MTW for my show.
She's the prop mistress for music theater. She's the chair of the prop committee, so she's a great person to know for that as well.
Yeah, she guided me back, and it was in the annex. Like, you guys have stuff in there already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've rented the entire annex at this point, so we're beginning work, the kind of work you can do on a leased space to get it ready for the sale when we purchase it in December.
It looks like a hell of a job going forward.
It's a big job.
Yeah.
We've committed $150,000 to the first phase after we purchase it of just construction. And a lot of that is to build spaces to get back and forth. So we have access between the buildings.
TJ and I were talking about that the other day, if you guys had planned like interior connections.
Yes.
And there must be.
Yeah,
right?
We've got a pretty big plan. John Mauser is the head of the building committee.
Oh, he does know about that kind of stuff. He knows about carpentry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so really our biggest thing, and I don't know if you remember the little prop room.
Yeah, off the side. Yeah.
So we're going to be removing that completely.
Oh.
And punching walls through there, and we're going to take out part of the new prop room, and it's going to go straight through there.
Oh.
It's possible it'll be quite a big one, so we'll be able to run set pieces from the annex onto the stage. That was kind of the big plan. Is this possible? I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but we're hoping.
That'd be quite the thing, because that is a limitation of the space, is that because that's where the actors come through, right? The wings, and that's also where you have to store the set pieces. So you are pretty limited. Yeah,
it's a black box theater, so we end up doing a lot of unit sets. We can't do multiple interiors.
Yeah, they have to be pretty thin, literally thin.
Yes.
So that people can get around them, right? They can't block the entire way. Oh, well, that would be useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all right, great. So then hooking up with last week's episode, Kevin and I both auditioned for shows.
I don't think I announced that I was going to do it. It was kind of a last minute.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, better luck to those who didn't prepare for a long time, I guess. I'm here to say no dice. I am not going to be performing in Girl Sherlock Holmes at
in
the
Miss
ICCA.
Holmes and Miss Watson.
Yeah, Apartment 2B. I will not be in it. It's a shame. There was a decent turnout, but there were only 2 men in the room, including me. And there's 1 male role. So I was like, oh boy, 50-50, right? And then talking to people afterwards, it's not the other guy either. Phil has, it's a Phil and Mackenzie show, and Phil has very extensive outside of the area contacts. So it'll be some expert level, elite human capital style imported talent. But you got to consider the health of the show. Whatever is the best for the show.
We talked a little bit earlier, and part of casting a show, and this is really hard for actors, I think, to understand, is that most of the time the director has a pretty good view of what they want to see for each of the characters, the type of person they're looking for. And so sometimes you can have somebody who's absolutely the best vocalist, the best singer, the best actor, the best dancer, and they might not be the vision that the director has for that character. And it's disheartening not to get a role that you were like measurably the best one for. And I think it's been hard here because we're kind of used to all volunteer casts. Mm-hmm. And we do have a few shows where people are paid to be in the show, and which means that they can pull people from Ellensburg, from Seattle, or even from New York.
Right. And the Wenatchee shows, we can chop it up better amongst ourselves. Like you go to the audition and you can, if you've been around for a while, you can probably cast it just looking at the room, right? People's types, yada, yada, yada. But Lower Summer Theater gets, 400, 500 applications a year, right? So you can go in there and think, oh, I did a really good job. I nailed it. It's mine. And then it's some Yahoo from Texas, right? That nobody's ever seen. But again, the director has to consider the health of the show, make the best decision for the show. And I will say that I kind of directed my show. I've never really directed, but talking to directors, 90% of the time they do say they know pretty quickly.
Yes.
Right. Based on a person's vibe or whatever. So again, it's kind of a bummer, but also it's kind of reassuring that you can just not fit, and it's okay. It's just not the end of the world.
Yes.
You will live again to fight another day.
Yeah, we want to encourage everybody to audition for stuff just because we do have a lot of parts. And I know I went to auditions for The Minutes, and in that show, we had 28 people audition. It's not a musical, but and so we did have a lot of people who aren't vocalists. There are people in town that want to act, but they're not singers. And so Music Theater of Wenatchee, although it has music in its title, is pretty committed to doing non-musicals several times a year. And so The Minutes, it's a show written by Tracy Letts, and it's a great script. And Brian Higgins is the director of the show, and he got great people auditioning for that show.
That's wonderful. No, I looked at the cast list. We have a cast list out, and there's a lot of names on there I don't recognize. So I think that's great. You're growing the program, right? There's a new generation coming up.
So the cast list for The Minutes: Mr. Peel will be played by Dylan Clare. Mayor Superba will be played by myself. Ms. Johnson will be played by Keziah Benson, Mr. Blake by Aaron Mitchell, Mr. Breeding by John Schultz, Mr. Assalone by Dave Osborne, Mr. Hanratty by Matthew Pippin, Ms. Innes by Marie Scanlon, Ms. Matz by Lane Heichel, Miss Oldfield by Terry Sloan, Mr. Carp by Mike Magnotti, and the understudy for Mr. Peel is Lauren Malloy.
So that's like an even combination of like old hands, and new people. So that's exciting.
No, I had not met Dave and Keziah before, and they were great. They were they read, and it made me understand the character better. From talking to Brian, I think even at callbacks, he was thinking, okay, well, let's just have this person fill. Everybody was there, and he would say, okay, you just fill you go in, you do Hanratty, or you do Ms. Johnson. And the person that he wasn't expecting got up and read a fantastic, fantastic read. And it's like, oh, that actually looks better than what I was thinking. I like the way that they did that.
This is an odd coincidence because Music Theater Wenatchee just did Catch Me If You Can, and the cop character in that is Hanratty.
Yes.
That's a very specific name, Hanratty.
Yes.
That's not a common name.
No.
So within the space of a year, 2 shows with a Hanratty.
Yes.
How strange.
Well, and this show, they have the names are kind of...
Well, one of them's called Ass Alone.
And the names refer to the character.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Oldfield is the old member on the board that doesn't want things to change.
And Mayor Superba.
Mayor Superba, he's the top dog.
Okay.
Mr. Assalone is kind of a jackass.
Okay. Dickensian.
Yes, it's an allegory of some kind. It's pretty political. He wrote it in 2016.
Yeah. No, I've heard about the show. I've not read it, but I'm familiar with the idea.
Yeah.
So
it was a great experience. I think I talked to you in the fact that we auditioned with Mark Wavra, who's back in town, and he had conflicts and wasn't able to do it. But as we were reading through it, he was jumping around to different characters and absolutely nailing each one. I did not remember how good he is as an actor.
Wavra was in my first Wenatchee show. He was Black Stash when we did Peter and the Starcatcher, which is a long story and we don't need to discuss it. But Wavra was dynamite.
Yes.
He was dynamite.
No, just fantastic. Every time I would do a read and then Mark would follow me doing that character, I realized I was doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It was that kind of letdown after the show. It's like, no, there's no way.
Well, you got the role, you did something right.
I did get the role.
Yeah.
No. I think I'm fairly good as an actor. I enjoy it, and I think I've got some skills.
Well, this is going to be your first time in like a serious way on stage since, speaking of, A Gentleman's Guide.
That's right.
That was 3 years ago.
That was kind of a mic drop for me just because the role was so big.
That was, it was physically intense too, right? Because of the costume changes and all that. Yeah. So it's taken you 3 years to recover. Well, but now you're back.
And there is a certain amount where right after that, I got onto the board of music theater as president-elect, became president.
On the strength of your performance.
That was
That's
not
the Dice
it.
Smith family.
That was not it. But so I'll be completing my term in January before the show opens. So I think it kind of puts a capstone on that part.
So everybody can speak freely about your performance.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. They won't get in trouble.
They can.
So you are the outgoing president.
I'm the outgoing president.
Who is the incoming president?
Mark Belton is the incoming president.
I like Mark Belton.
And he's also on Wenatchee School Board.
Oh, he won.
Well, he was the only one running, so I'm assuming he will win unless
they didn't bring in somebody from New York.
They didn't.
Surprise!
That was something talking about auditions. There are different ways that our theater groups operate. So Leavenworth Summer Theater, there is a stipend for the actors up there. At music theater, there is no stipend. Everybody is completely volunteer as an actor. There's a stipend or more of a thank you for the band most of the time, just because they have given up gigs to play in the band.
Well, I approve of that. Like the technical talent. There's a million of us actors clawing over each other to be in a show, right? So just like the nature of it. But, like the sound guy, I think that's correct,
And you see the same thing at the schools. They're not paying the kids to act on stage, but they might be paying the technical talent to run the sound and light board and that kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And ICCA has been kind of a back and forth. Sometimes it's volunteer local, sometimes it's been paid.
When Phil was running it, it was paid.
Okay.
And I know that Sherlock and Watson will be paid.
Yeah.
It's a $500 stipend plus some comp tickets. I always like getting comps.
Yeah.
You're kind of like the big man. You got comps.
You can hand
Come
them
on
out.
in. I got comps. It's nice. It's good to have something to give out. It feels good.
Yeah. The stage kids, it's kind of the opposite on that one. A lot of the kids are putting money in to be part of the program so they can be on stage. So they're obviously not getting paid, but some of the adults are.
Well, at Leavenworth Summer Theater, if you're under 18, the stipend is pretty marginal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty...
It pays for gas money.
Pretty thin. But if you're over 18, it's fine. I mean, nobody's getting rich off of being Maria or Captain Von Trapp or whatever. But it does, it pays. And it's a decent rate.
Okay, so next, what do we got next?
Well, the other day we went to an opening night, also a closing night. We went to Rocky Horror at the Pack.
The shadow cast of Rocky Horror, which we had not one, but two shadow casts of Rocky Horror.
Yeah, so last year they had one shadow. They've been doing it for a while. I've gone to all of them except for last year because I was in A Little Night Music. But last year they had one cast with two Rockies. And this year they had two casts, but one Rocky. What's going on? What's happening here?
Well, one Rocky and one Frankenfurter.
Yes.
And one Dr. Scott.
Well, the Frankenfurter was magnificent.
Yes.
That role belonged to Caleb Sims.
So,
right.
So this is the first time I've seen the Shadowcast Rocky Horror at the Pack. And has Caleb done it before?
I think he might have done it last year, but I wasn't there.
Okay. No, Caleb was fantastic. He was
Yes.
definitely the standout as far as nailing the character as portrayed by Tim Curry.
Yeah, he was Frankenfurter. He was doing great.
Yeah. I saw him the next night on Halloween night down at Epoch.
Oh.
And he was still dressed as Frankenfurter in the green smock. So,
well, I wore my Transylvanian. It is the Riff Raff Transylvanian costume to my party the other night.
Okay.
It was a great costume.
Yeah.
You were also dressed nicely. You had a tiny hat.
I had a tiny hat and the suit jacket and the bow tie.
The cummerbund.
I did not have a cummerbund.
I thought you did.
Well, then my costume worked. You assumed more than I had.
The human brain, it fills in the gaps.
Yeah, no, I was going with the time warp style Transylvanian.
Yeah.
They're still called Transylvanians in that number, and I'm not sure
They
why.
are Transylvanians.
Did they come from outer space?
Yeah.
The party guests?
I assume so.
The ones that show up on motorbikes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I assume so. They're like crewmen or whatever. They went out and they captured more humans for Frankenfurter to sexually assault. I don't know.
Okay. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
What a horrible character Frankenfurter is.
Yeah. So skipping ahead a little bit. So me being me, I've seen Rocky Horror like 100 times or whatever. But every time I watch it, with a little bit of like gap there, I'm always struck by three things, right, that you kind of forget about.
Yeah.
Number one, that it really is like a sci-fi pastiche, right? You think about Rocky Horror and often you think gay, because that is a very important part of it. And not to minimize that or whatever, but it is like Richard O'Brien, the writer. It is like a love letter to like the old time sci-fi movies.
Yes.
The technobabble and the overacting and the camera work. It's very strongly reminiscent of that.
Well, and the opening song is science fiction double feature.
Yeah,
it's very much old time science fiction.
Like Comedy Tonight for A Funny Thing Happened at the Way to the Forum.
Yes.
The opening song decides, this is the show. This is what you should be ready for. And so science fiction double feature, it's referencing The Invisible Man, all this stuff, and saying, this is sci-fi shtick. We're going to be doing sci-fi shtick for you. And then number two, I'm always struck by the fact that Frankenfurter is a sexual predator. He just has a ton of charisma, so we go along with it.
Yes.
But he is literally trapping people so that he can sexually attack them in his castle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, it's Tim Curry, and he's so magnificent. He's so good looking, and he sings the fun songs, and he has the fun voice. So yeah, you're along for the ride.
Yeah.
It makes you think, doesn't it? It really does, doesn't it?
You were bringing up Sabella earlier, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, if they have charisma and they sing the fun songs,
That's
it's
right.
not so bad.
Yeah, no, we
We all-
like them. Well, no, he was dressing up like other people to have sex with them in bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they are deceived, and they object. And then he like manipulates them,
Well,
right?
and at the end, when Riff Raff comes back and lasers him, and he falls into the swimming pool dead, and there is a sense that Riff Raff is the bad guy.
Well, and then Dr. Scott is like, you had to kill him. That's the Riff Raff lyric is, your lifestyle's too extreme, right?
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, his lifestyle is extremely extreme. And then they sing at the end, and it's kind of this weird like, but the sci-fi, this old stuff always did have like a moral at the end, right? They sing this very sad song at the end where they go, superheroes come to feed. And it's like, oh, this guy like shattered these people's lives because they were like a happy couple and they were going to get married. And now their lives have been ruined by an alien who just had like insatiable horniness. Right. That is the game here. He's just like, I need to be constantly having sex with strangers.
Yes. Well, that being said, going to the Pack and seeing the Shadowcast show, the thing, I haven't seen it before, and I did not think it would be as adult as it was.
Yeah, it is.
There was so much skin on stage
Yeah.
that it was shocking. And I think Matthew Pippin's the director of this show, and he's really put together a bunch of people that just go out there and have fun.
It is a festival of sexuality.
Yes. And so there was, although I might have been a little embarrassed, I did not get the sense that the cast was embarrassed in any way.
No, they were there for it.
They were
That's
confident.
like the draw.
They were confident, and they were there. And TJ was on stage with a microphone off to the side, and she was going through all of the shout outs. So it took a little while for the audience to get through what was going on and to understand it. At some point, I did hear somebody saying, I can't hear the movie.
You should have seen the movie before.
Yes.
You should not be there. Like, oh, yeah, I want to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think that's an interesting movie. You should have seen this on your own.
Yes.
You know, this is not about that.
When you go there, you have to expect that people are going to be shouting things at the screen and throwing things.
That's the whole bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both wife and I, we got the bags, the $10 bags. I think I must have got one at the very end because I had crappy stuff in my bag.
Oh, the Primo stuff.
Yeah, I think they'd gotten through it. So the light sticks that they gave out, we had the tiny little stubby ones, and we did not get the party horns. We got little plastic clapper. I mean, everything was, I felt like we missed out.
Yeah, and I don't think you had toast. Did you have toast?
They do not give out toast.
They don't give out toast.
No, any of the toast on the floor, people brought themselves. There's no
Good for them.
There's no way that the Performing Arts Center wants people throwing out toast and then having water guns. I mean, wet toast in the carpet's hard to clean.
Wet toast. Dreadful.
Dreadful.
I did want to say the final thing I always notice when I rewatch Rocky Horror is how extraordinarily beautiful Susan Sarandon is.
Yes.
Primo Susan Sarandon, you know, my God. And she's still a looker. She still got it.
Yes. Well, this is very, very young Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
Probably the first thing that we're going to be seeing Susan Sarandon in.
She was in other movies before this, but they were not very prominent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's just wonderful. Everybody in that cast is wonderful. Meatloaf, Barry Bostwick.
And how many of them were in like the West End productions when they were doing it in bars and really putting it together?
TJ told me most of them, but I can't say that with confidence.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we did talk earlier that Meatloaf was in the original cast.
Yes. Yeah. TJ is like the keeper of the lore. She knows everything about the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I knew a lot more about it back when we produced it at Music Theater, which, Lord, that must have been 20 years ago.
They need to do it again.
We could do it again.
Whenever I see the Shadowcast, that is what I think is like, we should do it. Like we should do the show.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's tough because it is a raunchy show.
Yeah.
And it's got to be done that way. And it's hard to fit that into a family-friendly season.
Yeah. But, I mean, maybe another theater company could do it at the Riverside or whatever. Because, like, I mean, Killer Joe was at the Riverside.
Yeah.
Killer Joe is far more filthy than...
Yes. Well, we did it at the Riverside. That was back. I had just joined the board the first time, and we were trying to get the fall musical going, and it was going to be a non-family friendly fall musical.
Okay.
And so I think the first one we were able to do was Urinetown, and then we did Chicago, and then we did Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay, so the space that Hot August Nights kind of later moved into.
Yes.
NGW was first doing it.
Yes.
Okay.
And when Hot August Nights took over, they did Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was one of their first shows.
Yeah.
So anyhow. Okay.
Yeah, but I love the Shadowcast. I always like going to see it. It's just a fun time. You know, it's rowdy. And we had a lot of friends in the cast. I wanted to mention, Caleb Sims, Leslie Corson, Eloise, right?
Eloise Sheets.
Eloise Sheets, yes, of the legendary Sheets family. Kylie Boggs was in there.
Yes.
She was working. She was making the show go.
She was dragging people across stage.
She was. God bless her. The beautiful TJ Farrell, right, was doing the calls. And one of the Brads and Janets was Alex and Emma. Alex Novello, who was the jester in 12th Night, and his girlfriend Emma. And I had never seen Emma on stage before. I recognized her because she comes to Alex's stuff, and Alex is also in the D&D troupe. But God bless her, she went for it, right? But yeah, so everybody did a great job. It was a lot of fun. The Janets were wearing slips.
Yes.
I love a slip. Women don't wear slips anymore. That's why this country's going down the tubes, Kevin.
Well, they don't wear a lot of dresses.
I know, but I like slips specifically.
Okay.
I think they're very classy.
They are.
I don't know. I think they're cool.
Well, and if you go back to 40s and 50s movies, that's if it's risque, it's a woman in a slip.
I don't know. Women's fashion used to be so much more complicated than it is now. Nowadays, they just put on yoga jeans, yoga pants, or whatever, and a t-shirt. Your mothers and your mother's mothers, they put effort in.
Guys used to wear a lot more too. We would show up in suits and a hat.
Okay, this is true.
Normal
Also,
jobs.
It is when you watch old movies. All the men are wearing jackets.
Yes.
You know, like a normal person is wearing a jacket. Nowadays, the other day, for example, I was wearing a jacket because I was showing like a really fancy house, and everybody I bumped into that day said, "Why are you wearing a jacket? What's going on?" Because it's so unusual.
I'll see somebody wearing a jacket walking down the street, and I'm like, oh, they must be going to court.
Yeah.
People just don't wear them.
No, you're right. We're all to blame for this, for the degeneration of society. But I like slips. And, you know, in Rocky Horror, Susan, the beautiful Susan Sarandon wears a slip.
Yeah.
So there it is. But yeah, I think that's all we had to say about it. I love Rocky Horror. I think it's great. I look forward to next year. So also this week, this is a big week for theater, right? They announced the Minutes cast, and LST finally announced their season.
That's right.
Yeah, so the 2026 season, and I'm going to run them down real fast, then we can talk about them in depth.
Okay.
But it's going to be Sound of Music, surprise, directed by Katie Newberry, and then it's going to be Anything Goes, directed by Dana Taves, and then it's going to be Bright Star, directed by Emily Raleigh. LST runs a very tight ship.
Yes, you don't find out about what's going on, what the shows are going to be until they announce.
I have been part of the program for a long time, and I have never once known what the shows were before they were announced publicly, before the donor letters went out, you know.
Well, I've known because I was directing, and so I would know what the other shows were going to be.
Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
You know.
But in this one, they're all known directors.
Yes.
Katie Newberry was the choreographer for Casey Craig last year for Little Mermaid.
Yes, she was the co-director of the show last year.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and she was the choreographer for Sound of Music in 23.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's familiar with that.
No, 24.
Oh, okay.
Because we're in 25. We're talking about the 26th season.
We're talking about the 26th
season. And in 2025,
season.
she was the co-director with Casey for Little Mermaid. And in 24, when I was Max in Sound of Music, she was the choreographer.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is her third year with the program.
Yeah.
So she's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, and is she out of Ellensburg or is she
She's from the West Side.
Okay. Has she been working Village Theater with Casey?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Emily Raleigh directed Sound of Music last year.
Yes.
And this year she's going to be directing Bright Star.
Yeah. So Raleigh is a teacher at Central. So I don't know her, but the Central kids I've talked to speak about her pretty highly.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people liked Sound of Music last year. People, esteemed it pretty highly. So yeah, so Bright Star is an interesting show. Bright Star's from 2014, and it was written by Steve Martin and Edie Brickell, who you know.
Well, she was in the New Bohemians, and in the 90s, she had a one-hit wonder hit that was on the radio, and she's also married to Paul Simon.
Of Simon and Garfunkel.
Of Simon and Garfunkel.
Wow.
Yes.
Good work if you can get it. But yeah, so I've actually seen the show before.
Yeah.
It didn't run for a long time on Broadway, but they did it at Quincy. Mm-hmm. Yes, Quincy Valley Allied Arts, right? Brian Higgins directed it. And we put together a big group to go see it because, can you believe it, Rachel Powers was the lead.
Yes.
Right. So we all mobbed up and went out there. It was a lot of fun. It's a good show. It's the thing about it is that it's American traditional music, right? It's all bluegrass and country. So it's like a string band, right? Mm-hmm. It is very specific instrumentation, and the instrumentation is very different from a normal musical theater kind of drums, keys, and like a clarinet or something, right? It is a mandolin, and it is a banjo, and it's a stand-up bass. So I hope they get a good band because it's very important and it's very specific.
The one thing about this one is when I was talking to Rachel on this show last month before, this was her role that she had said. I'd asked, "What's your dream role? What role do you really want to do?" And she said, the lead in Bright Star, which she had already done twice, but she would want to do it again. She did not know that Leavenworth was going to be doing Bright Star. But I am hoping and praying that she does get this lead because I think she's fantastic in this role.
So, no, I think she's a great choice for it. But no, Bright Star's a great show. The main thing is the music.
Yeah, well, the music's very specific.
Yeah.
And the show is darker than I was expecting when I saw it the first time. The end of Act 1 shocked me, and the lights came up, and everybody looked around and said, "What just happened?"
Well, see, the thing about me is that I'm like a robot with no human feeling. So I was not shocked, but it is true. You're right. Without spoiling anything, it does have like a darker tone to it.
Yes.
Which you don't really expect given like the first hour or so of the show.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's a couple people that are so evil that you have a hard time believing it.
I don't know. I like the show. I'm excited for it.
I love the show. I think it's a great show, but it was not what I was expecting going into it, thinking, oh, Steve Martin, this ought to be fun. Yeah. Well, and Dana's directing Anything Goes, which Anything Goes we've done multiple times.
Yeah, so I looked it up. LST did Anything Goes in 2005 and 2015. So we should have done it this past year.
That's right.
Come on.
Every 10 years we do Anything Goes.
Anything Goes.
Yeah.
Christy, what's going on here? No, I love Anything Goes. I think it's a great choice. It's also, speaking of specific instrumentations, it's a jazz age musical.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need like a really good horn section.
Yes.
Right? Blow Gabriel, blow. There's like long, I mean, you could cut them out, I think, but come on. It's jazz. You really want like the long trumpet solos and all that.
The song is Blow Gabriel Blow.
Yeah.
You need the brass on Blow Gabriel Blow.
But I think that about wraps it up for talking about LST, right?
Okay.
So auditions will be the second weekend of February. And they're reasonably intense. We talked about this last time, but there's a dance audition, there's readings, and there's callbacks. It's a whole thing.
Okay, so we're going to talk about opening nights, and Lord Almighty, we got a lot of opening nights coming up.
There's a lot on this sheet here in front of me.
Yeah. So we've got this next week, we are going to Puffs.
Yes.
With Quincy High School. And although I've said I think it's a Harry Potter knockoff, I've been watching their social media, and I think it's not quite what I think it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Hufflepuffs.
I thought that's what it was, but they seem to be pushing, it could be all over the place.
Oh.
It's a comedy,
okay,
but we'll see what it's going to be about. That opens on November 7th, I think, just because I'm going to be out of town. We're going to be seeing it November 8th at the matinee.
There was a TV advertisement for Shuck the other day. My mom asked me if I knew what that was.
And you said yes.
I said, you clearly don't listen to the podcast, Mom. It's Kevin's favorite musical.
That he's never seen.
Mm-hmm.
It is My Drowsy Chaperone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The following week, Stage Kids is going to be opening up Lion King Jr. on November 12th at the PAC. And the following day, Wenatchee High School and Eastmont High School are opening up their shows, Little Shop of Horror and Too Many Detectives.
Yes.
And so we're going to probably be having to talk about that next week on which show we're going to be seeing and when.
Yes, I can't believe, like a child of divorced parents, we're being forced to choose here.
We have to choose.
We have to choose who is our favorite, who do we love more. We will make a choice.
We'll make a choice.
Yes.
The following weekend, Moses Lake High School is opening up Mamma Mia, which I'm kind of excited. I've never been to the Moses Lake High School production and kind of excited to see how it works.
Well, Moses Lake is a big community.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's a sizable town.
Yes, they have their own theater group, which I have not seen their theater group. I know that there was kind of a kerfuffle just because they did Bright Star like 2-3 months after Quincy did Bright Star.
It was very close.
It was very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. December 1st, Third Job Theater's opening up Santa Claus Conquers the Martian with our favorite elf, Winky. Is that who you are?
Yes. I, Skyler J. Cuthill, with all my training and experience, am playing Winky the Elf in Santa Claus Conquers the Martian. It'll be fun. It's supposed to be like a half improv show. And TJ's in it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a fun group of people. So we'll have a good time.
And it's a Christmas show I've never seen. We were talking about, I was just down at the Wonderettes for a strike, and they were talking about the winter shows. And there's not a lot of Christmas shows that people really want to see. And this is one I haven't seen.
Yeah.
The PAC is going to be having Holiday Spice on the 4th and 5th, which I'll be at because I'll be in it, emceeing it or kind of holding the show together, holding the variety acts together with Danny Schaefer-Cloak. December 4th through the 6th is Journey to Bethlehem, which isn't quite it's not quite theater, but
it's the opening night for Christianity.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's an opening night for Jesus. But the Seventh-day Adventist Church has been doing this in town, and they basically build a little town all the way around their church. They build Bethlehem, and they lead you through it where you can talk to basically Roman soldiers in full armor on horseback will run you down as Jewish slime coming into their town, and you'll have to meet the innkeeper who will tell you can't stay here.
Ancient Jews, you have to knock it off.
Yeah.
The Romans are going to kill all of you. You're not going to win this fight. I am begging you to calm down. All right, do not revolt. Do not kill the Greek quarter. Just calm down, okay? Please.
I do love the show. I would take my kids to it, and my kids loved it. They have live animals. They ship in a camel from somewhere.
Wow, camel.
It's a camel, and they've got horses and donkeys and goats or baby donkeys, depending on who you're talking to. And then, of course, they close up with the shepherds and an angel that shows up. And
do the three wise men show up?
I don't know if the three, they must show up.
They're an important part of the nativity.
They are, but if you're doing a timeline, they don't show up until much later. They don't show up at the manger.
I mean, generally speaking, though, if you have like a little nativity display, you have the three wise men.
You do.
Right, with the boxes.
Yeah, no, they're trying to be very accurate about the whole thing. But anyhow, that one's, boy, I've given them a lot of publicity here on that one. But it's Journey to Bethlehem.
Well, because you said that's an important part of like your life, like raising your kids.
It is the McKee family tradition is you go watch Journey to Bethlehem, and then we all go out for froyo.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, that's right. Okay, at December 11th, we start up Music Theater's next show, which is The Christmas Carol, which Henry Heddick is directing.
Yes.
And Lord, there's a huge cast of a lot of theater luminaries from recent and long ago that are coming to be in that show.
Just like the ghosts.
Just like the ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. And I think next week we're going to have to go through the cast list on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely interested in that one. We will be there. Absolutely.
That's right. December 16th at the PAC is the Old Time Radio Show. We'll be doing A Christmas Story.
And you'll be in that one.
I will be in that one. We're in rehearsals right now, and there's a lot of music. It's the full Broadway musical.
Yeah, but without dance.
With no dance. Well, you don't know. Oh. How would you know? We could make it sound like dance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What technological art, what miracle would make that possible?
Like a tap dance.
I look forward to it.
So then we kind of stop for the Christmas break, and January 22nd, we will have Music Theater Wenatchee. We'll have The Minutes, directed by Brian Higgins. January 30th, Cashmere High School is doing Once Upon a Mattress. February 13th is Ms. Holmes and Miss Watson, Apartment 2B, up at the Snowy Owl. And then we've got Afraid of High School is doing Grease.
Oh.
I don't know where they're going to do it. That stage is not big enough.
That's a tiny, it's like a rejiggered space. It's not even like a real stage. It's like a band space.
Yeah. No, I kind of love it.
And Grease is a big show.
It's a big show. And then Quincy's doing Footloose. So we've got a lot of shows coming up.
Yes.
And most of these are either high school shows, which if you're a listener, you either know about auditions or you can't audition because you're not a high schooler.
Well, there is an audition coming up we wanted to mention.
Yeah.
So Music Theater Wenatchee is doing Legally Blonde for the Apple Blossom Show. The Apple Blossom Show is the big show, right? So most people, it's the most money, yada, yada, yada. And they haven't announced specific audition dates, but it is always either very late December or very early January.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's the Atwoods. That's Paul and Kelly Atwood. So it's going to be good. They are very experienced. They know what they're doing. And Legally Blonde is a fun show.
It's a great show. I've wanted to direct that one myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've talked to Christy multiple times. We need to do Legally Blonde up in Leavenworth.
Oh, Leavenworth.
Just because at Leavenworth you get so many talented college girls.
The Greek chorus.
Yeah.
The sorority sisters.
The sorority sisters.
Oh, that does make sense, doesn't it? We are so rich in very skilled 19-year-old girls. You're right.
And
you're right.
You could nail it. We always end up with so many nuns.
Yeah.
And anyhow.
Yeah, and then the boys are also college age.
Yeah.
Right? The two male leads, the bad boyfriend and the good boyfriend.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm kind of writing locals like myself out of the show.
Yeah, there is one older woman and one older man.
Yeah, there's just
unless you want to
much.
be like the parents in the very first scene.
Yeah,
they
there's
go,
not much.
Harvard, why do you want to go to there? Yeah, you're right. But no, it's true. That would be a good deployment of their resources, wouldn't it? And Legally Blonde is a popular show. It sells. I would imagine the licensing is kind of as such, but it does. People know it, you know.
Well, and if you're interested, I would say get prepared for that. Find a script.
Yeah.
You can probably find a script online if you know what you're doing. There is a pro shoot that, well, MTV did that shoot, and I'm sure that can be found somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
And that one is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a really good pro shoot of Legally Blonde Live or whatever they called it, but it's really good. So we will say go ahead and watch that. The stuff that just finished, we said Rocky Horror we saw, and it's closed. Marvelous Wonderettes closed this weekend. And I did want to mention Wall Luke High School in Mattawa. They just restarted a theater program.
Oh.
And they did The Importance of Being Earnest this weekend. I did not get a chance to go down and see it. It's something I was really trying to go to. And they came up, and they've been borrowing stuff from Wenatchee High School. James Wallace told me about it. And I do want to support these programs that are just starting, because it is so difficult to start a program when you don't have parents and teachers and people in the community who understand what you're trying to do.
Yeah, Wenatchee's very lucky to have the continuity and the tradition and so on and so forth. So they always put on a good show. But it is difficult. You know, I feel like we're overdue for The Importance of Being Earnest. That's like a community theater favorite.
Yeah.
That's like regularly done. And I'm very sure it's public domain because it's Oscar Wilde, right?
Okay.
So you could just do it, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, I feel like that one should have come up.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, I think that about wraps it up for this week here on the Opening Night Club podcast.
A lot going on. There's a lot going on. If you want to meet up with us, we will be going to Puffs, but we will be there not on the opening night. We'll be there November 8th at 2 p.m. Terrible.
And get prepared for Stage Kids Wenatchee High School and Eastmont High School the following week.
Yes.
So go ahead, get out there, and make sure you see an opening night.